Okay, here we go. Comparing and ordering integers is lesson 1.4, which comparing means something is bigger than something else, or something is smaller than something else, right? If we're asked to compare, we might say taller, smaller, larger, whatever. Okay, that is the words we oftentimes use. But in today and in a lot of math, sometimes they'll have you compare numbers by showing them in a certain way. Now, integers are normal numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whole numbers. Their opposites, which is all the negatives, and 0. That is what integers are, and they've actually defined that for you. Negative numbers are small, small, small. Positive get bigger, and there's a nice little chart there for you, which you can see. All right? There's a story about super cooled insects, which I find absolutely amazing. I'm going to bug somebody to read it. Who wants to read about super cooled insects? Go ahead, Tabitha. Tell me a story about super cooled insects.
Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, but some animals can resist freezing by producing a chemical that lowers the temperature at which the water in their bodies freezes. This temperature is called a supercooling. Which of the insects listed in the table has the lowest supercooling point?
Awesome. Thank you very much. Based on the list, the Arctic beetle, would you agree, appears to be able to tolerate the lowest temperature before he dies. Right? He's not the worst. Oh no, woolly bear. Sorry, I didn't even see it. Durr. Yeah, open your eyes, Mrs. Myers. Arctic beetle is second lowest. So woolly bear, there's his picture, which means he could survive like in Alaska and way up there. Now, if you are not good at knowing which is the smallest in a group of negative numbers, they suggest, like they do in example 1, that you graph them, and that is place circles on a number line to indicate where they live, and then on a number line, and this isn't going to be their example 1, but I'm going to give you another one. On a number line, to the right is big, 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 and to the left is small, right? And if I give you the list of bugs, you can graph it on there, and you can see how they graph it. Based on their graph, the woolly bear caterpillar is indeed the one. Now, I'm going to have you graph another group of numbers. We're going to do 3, -4, 0, -9, 4, and 1. We're going to graph this set of numbers on this graph. I'm going to just count by 2s, -10, -8, -6, -4, I'm going to run out of room, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, maybe my scale isn't very good, but it works, right? 3 would be here. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you if you already know. -4 is here. 0, the origin is right there. 9, +4, and +1. All of those now have been graphed on a number line, and if I ask you which is the smallest, Eli, which one would you say is the smallest in this mess? He's right. In the same way I can say Noah Criddle, which one's the biggest? And if you have to look on your sheet, if you have it graphed already.
I'm sorry, can't really, I forgot where we are.
Okay, so,
Taking my notes, I got lost.
all right, here we are. We're right here. This is where we are. I gave you a list of numbers, told you to graph them. Rachel, which one's the biggest? Thank you.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes,
can you sit her down, please?
sure. She's on her way. Take the white pass. Okay, this is my example 1. You can utilize the bug example also. Okay, the next thing I'm going to teach you is the term absolute value. Okay, to define this term, absolute value is the distance from 0 that a given number is found. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, if I were to ask you what the absolute value of negative 6 is, and you didn't know it, you could graph it, negative 6, negative 5, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. And you could say, how far away is it? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6 spaces away, which means the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. You don't have to say spaces, you just say 6. Okay? The easiest way for me to recognize it is whatever this number is, make sure it's a positive, that's your answer. Okay, if it's a negative something, the answer is positive. If it's a positive something, it's still a positive. Alright? The absolute value of 8 is 8. It's 8 spaces away from 0. I'm not going to graph that one. Alright? So let me ask you this, guys. I'm going to give you 2 that I want you to try. Here's letter A. What is the absolute value of negative 4, Ethan? He's right. How about the absolute value of 6? 6, go ahead.
6.
He's right. Okay, just something to note. 0 doesn't have an absolute value because it is not any distance away from itself. So 0 is 0. If they ever ask, say 0. Okay? Absolute value. We're going to talk about opposites real quick. Okay, opposites. So when you think about it, positive is the opposite of negative. Okay, so positive and negative are opposite each other. Okay, so some examples might be state the opposite of negative 6. What would you say, Leah? Right. State the opposite, Mason, of 3. Negative 3 is right. Okay, so whatever the number is, give me the other sign. Okay, so here we are. Give me A. Grace, what is the opposite of 8? Yeah, I know. I hate insulting you guys' intelligence, but I have to give you all the detail I can. Give me the opposite of negative 7, LaSalle. She's right. Beautiful. All right. The chart there shows you another way you can look at it, or I mean the graphs. If you need to look at it on a line graph, do it that way. It doesn't matter to me how you prefer to do it. Okay? Last thing I have for you is example 4. If you wouldn't mind turning to page 24 with me, I am going to flip to the next thing. So this was example 2. I forgot to write it. This was example 3. Sorry, guys. Absolute value is 2. Opposites is 3. Got going so fast. Last item, example 4. And this is where I know several of you had questions. Again, out of the book, you can read it at your leisure. But we're going to do the same thing, except with different numbers. Evaluate the expression if K is equal to negative 4. Okay? A and B. Okay. This negative, Ryan, are you with me, buddy? You copying your notes? This negative stays with whatever we have. K is negative 4. Okay, you guys kind of see how that works? You don't just say the answer is negative 4, because it's not. I'm going to clarify this a little more. K's value is negative 4. So a negative 4, or you can say it the opposite of negative 4, is a positive 4. Okay? Be sure that you only plug in the value where it actually is found. Don't think that this then makes this just a negative 4. 8 divided by the absolute value of K. What is negative 4's absolute value, Zoe? Absolute value of negative 4. She's right. Good. 8 divided by 4 is 2. There's your answer to that one. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple more that I want you to try. I want you to evaluate if x equals -3. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one I want you to try. Try that one, and try this one. See if you guys get this one. This one might be a little harder. The opposite of the absolute value of x. Try those. Try those real quick. First one's probably easy. First one's the absolute value of x added to 6. If x is -3, then its absolute value is 3. Did you come up with a 9? Good. X is still -3, and the absolute value of -3 is 3. But this means the opposite of the absolute value of -3. That should be a 1. 3 minus 1. I don't know why my 1 got out of control. -3 minus 1. Did y'all come up with -4? Good. And if you didn't, now you know what you got. Now you know what you need. Okay? If there's ever a negative preceding something, that literally means the opposite of. You can think of it that way. A negative is the opposite. Okay.